latest advisory on Hurricane Sandy just in from the National Hurricane Center.
Some are calling it a superstorm. What is that all about?
As this storm moves farther north, it will expand. It's just really moving into a question of where.
It is already being felt tonight all along the coastline. Whipping winds and rains have already flooded many communities beyond the coastline.
We've only seen a slight little wobble, a little change in the last few forecast paths. And that is, if you look, still expected to make the turn on Monday toward the coastline.
Tomorrow, the storm will be on your front door. Everything you need to know.
This morning, I formally declared a state of emergency in anticipation of Hurricane Sandy. We should not underestimate the impact of the storm. And we should not assume that predictions will be wrong.
An historic storm is about to make landfall. Hurricane Sandy taking direct aim at southern New Jersey.
The wind direction is about to change. And when that wind shifts because it's on this side of the eye, rather than this, what they've had all day, that means that water is going to start to surge in the New York Harbor.
It is unbelievable now to just watch look down this street, this intersection. It is just all water.
This is what Sandy looks like now in Seaside Heights as she's coming ashore.
Tens of millions of people are feeling the impact, including flooding that will only get worse in the coming hours and days.
Numbers 9 and 8 feet above where we should be, and we're at low tide. Another 5 feet to go on top of that, and maybe more surge.
It certainly is a very serious situation here in Asbury Park.
These are the highest winds we've seen all day. It's actually kind of hard to stand up in there. And coming in are these massive waves that are battering into the businesses on the shore, and now it's coming up onto the boardwalk with all of this sea foam.
It's a massive storm, 1,000 miles across.
The conditions are just deteriorating by the minute here. We lost power here over an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours ago. So there's no power. The winds are picking up.
I was 9 days without power, if I may say that. And each day I thought, okay, we'll be back tomorrow. And then when I found out that JPS Students had electricity, but it was being used for the community, I knew that my play was small. My Tempest was small in comparison to what was happening in the lives of other people. So I didn't even try and get a rehearsal going.
Coming here? Yeah, absolutely no reason. Okay. So should we get like another piece to do that?
Who's making the tree stump?
We still had a lot more to go. We still had costumes to work with, set to work with, and a lot more to paint. We had so much to do, and that whole week just threw us all off. We were just really disappointed. We just didn't get to, we didn't have enough time.
Definitely stress. I think stress would be the word for it. From definitely a lot of the technical departments, and I know the art heads were pretty worried because in addition to a set that wasn't even done to be painted yet, the wall still had to be continued, and like I said, or like you said, 2 weeks to go, and we were really 5 weeks back.
Don't forget, this is a magic show. This is not realism. This is, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. We don't have to have something realistic here. So
if we did just do like kind of crunched up fabric that was like made blue,
yes,
that'd be okay.
That'd be absolutely fine.
And
if you wanted to bring
like
some of it up a wee little bit, like a
bit.
pie crust. You know,
Okay,
if you want to
yeah.
bring a wee little bit up, that would be,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, so some of it should still be blue to make it look like more of the ocean, and then where should the beach start?
I don't know. Probably anywhere in here, and it shouldn't be even.
What's that supposed to be?
Oh, you didn't hear about this? I said, Michael, go get that door, and this was holding the door open, so he decides to kick it to get it out from the door, just to do that. Broke the can, had paint all over the floor back there, and he went, I gotta go, my ride's here.
I don't think so.
I let him go.
I'd have been,
I know.
go get the shovel, clean it up.
Yeah, it took me a while. It took me a while to get it off the floor back there.
That was the worst thing ever. This is the hardest show we've ever done. And right when things are starting to click in, no more rehearsal. And we really, really needed rehearsal. And I remember over the break, towards the end of it, I saw Morgan, and I was like, Morgan, like, what are we doing? There was rumors that the play was going to be pushed back 2 weeks, and that was bad for me because I had something going on, and like, everybody was just really scared, and people were looking over their scripts at home, and I was trying to think, like, how am I ever going to learn to work with my sword? Like, we lost a whole week. That's a whole week of rehearsal. That's, you know, like 15 hours of rehearsal that we could have had that we didn't have.
I think we really all pulled together and just said, this is what we have to do, we're gonna do it, and let's start it up again.
It took some time to get us back on for a while, though, because we had been out a week's practice.
Listen. Everyone, listen. The crowding of the street, the room. Everyone hunches in against the crowding, holding their breath against dread.
Watch out. Okay, now he's good.
What do you dread?
When we came back in for the first rehearsal, that's when I hit the panic button, because we were really stale. It was almost like we were back in beginning of September, and they recognized it.
Hey, Mountain! Hey!
Silver, aye, there it goes. Silver!
Fury! Fury! There, tyrants, there! Ha! Ha!
Because, you know, you lose a week, and it's not that you lose the character, but when you're not doing it every single day like we normally are, going over it to some degree, you start to forget things, and you kind of worry, like, will I be able to pull this off by the show night? And then what was really scary, though, also was the construction. And I mean, the set looked incredible. And I know there was a lot of late nights spent here getting that all together, and that was also a worry. I mean, I think they were still touching up the day before opening night. So, you know, but again, like, the Tempest kind of interfered with our Tempest.
Oh, brave new world that has such people in it.
When we came back the Saturday after the hurricane, or the Sunday after, and started working again, then it really hit us that we have so much to do and we've only got like 2 weeks left. So that's when we kind of started to panic a bit.
We weren't even supposed to be in the school on that Sunday, really, but we did anyway because we're the theater department and we do what we have to do to get our job done. So it was very nerve-wracking. And whenever we talked to anyone about how frustrated we were, they were always like, oh, it was the hurricane, I know. And that is a really big part of what the problem was, but I mean, we still managed to do a really good show and a great set. So, I mean, it did have an impact in terms of our psyche about how we like freaked out all the time, but we were pretty, you know, in terms of work, we did get it all done still. Just a lot harder and a lot longer nights.
Thank you. That's all we need to know. Thank you.
Are you working at all today while we're rehearsing?
No, not today. But yeah, we will be heard. So it's 8
o'clock
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
8 tomorrow. Okay.
And we can say after 1?
Yeah, we can. I changed my tickets. I changed my matinee tickets. Okay. And apparently custodians are going to be here all night. So. It did get to a point where I did go to Plan B. I thought, okay. In Shakespeare's time, they did not have all the scenery. They created, and I started to look at like the Stratford Shakespeare Company. They did theirs with very little set. So I thought it was possible to do this on Plan B.
They're too long.
No, they're supposed to go in front. You know what I'm saying?
You know what?
There's an inch on.
Hold on.
There's an inch on each side.
Yeah, she called me. She was like, what do? I don't know what to do. They have to move the play dates. I was like, I don't know, Miss Ridge. I don't know what to tell you. And then when we got back to school, she says, oh, we can't move the dates, so we're just gonna have to do this. And that was just our mentality. Just have to do this.
So when this screw goes in, I'm gonna have to go up behind it and do this also because of how we're doing it, but it should balance itself out. Okay, let go for a sec. Okay, hold it, because I'm gonna have to go in again on the back now.
We all thought it was pretty ironic because the name of the show is The Tempest. And
Sorry.
we had a little tempest interrupt us in our production, but I think all of us really pulled it together. I think we were ready to perform it. Even like the first night of Tech Week, Miss Rich told us that we had a show, and that's like her always big phrase during Tech Week. You never know when it's gonna come, but you know when she says it that we're ready to perform.
Okay, ready?
Come from thy ward, for I can here disarm thee with this stick, and make thy weapon drop.
It's your father.
Hence! Hang not on my garments.
Sir, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Silence! One word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee.
I think the week off with no power was a blessing for me because it really helped me get into character of being alone on an island for 12 days is, for me, kind of like being alone for 7 days, sitting on my porch, staring at my lawn. It was very boring, and I realized that's what Prospero's been doing for the past 12 years, sitting, staring at nothing. I didn't have a daughter to raise, but...
What is it? A spirit? Lord, how it looks about. Believe me, sir, it carries a brave form, but 'tis a spirit.
No, wench. It eats and sleeps, and hath such senses as we have such. This gallant, which thou seest, was in the wreck, but he's something stained with grief. That's beauty's canker. Thou mightest call him a goodly person. He hath lost his fellows, and strays about to find them.
Ms. Rich said to us that fear is contagious and it'll spread. So if you act really scared and you're worried, somebody else is going to be, and it can keep going, set off a reaction. And I think we all realize that that is true and that we need to just keep it together. And we didn't have a choice. We just didn't have a choice. So that's what it came down to.
We literally could not believe how calm Miss Rich was. Like nothing ever happened. And we were all like freaking out to each other, like, oh my God, like, how are we gonna do it? Like, what about this scene? What about that scene? But she was just so calm about it, so I think that helped us. There's never really a moment where we all just like, all right, let's go. But it was pretty obvious after our first rehearsal back that we were in bad shape, and it was time to, work a little harder than we normally would have. Came out really great.
Not since Widow Ditto's time.
Widow, a pox of that. How came that in Widow Ditto? Widow Ditto, say you? What if you say the widow of Aeneas? Good Lord, how you take it?
Widow Ditto, said you? You make me study of that. She was of Carthage, not of Tunis.
Hurricane Sandy really hampered us for a little bit. We were very nervous about how we were going to go through with this, with keeping the regular dates, but we pulled through, and then show nights, we were all very proud, and it was a really achieving feeling.
on your part and your connection to every single person that you are dealing with, your connection with them, and the story, which has to come through big articulation, but don't indulge. Do you know what I mean by that? It's called hamming. Don't ham. Don't go overboard. Don't be beyond what we already did. You have it. You had a show days ago. That's the show I want them to see.
What was it again?
Pay no heed to wenches.
1, 2, 3.
Pay no heed to wenches!
This white truck rascal went down by his life, drowning and washing him 10 times!
Will be paid yet. The very drop water swear against him, and gave him his seclusion.
We split! We split!
Let's all sing with the king and take leave of him!
And give 1,000 furlongs of sea, for 1 acre of dry land. Crown first, pray her of anything. The wills above be done, but I fain die for I bless.
Therefore bear up and pour down, servant monster. Drink to me. Servant monster, the folly of the island. They say there's but 5 upon this isle, and we are 3 of them. If the other 2 be brave like us, the state touchers. Drink when I bid thee, servant monster, thy eyes are almost set in thy head.
I forget. But these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors, most busiest when I do it.
Alas, now pray you work not so hard. I would the lightning had burnt up those logs that you enjoyed to pile. Pray set it down and rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. Pray now rest yourself. Be safe for these 3 hours.
Oh, most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray, give me that. I'll carry it to the pile.
No, precious creature. I had rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo, while I sit lazy by.
It would become me as well as it does you, and I should do it with much more ease. For my good will is to it, and yours it is against.
Sit down and rest. Even here I will put off my hope and keep it no longer for my flatterer. He's drowned who doth restraint find, and the sea mocks our frustrated search on land. Well, let him go.
I am right glad that he's so out of hope. Do not for one repulse forego the purpose that you resolve to effect.
The next advantage we will take thoroughly.
Let it be tonight, for now they are oppressed with travel. They will not nor cannot use such vigilance as when they are fresh.
I say tonight, no more.
You are free men of sin, whom destiny that hath to instrument this lower world and what is in it, the never serpented sea hath caused to belch up you. And on this isle where man doth not inhabit, you monks men being most unfit to live, I have made you mad, and even with such like valor men hang and drown their proper selves. You fools, I and my fellows are ministers of fate, the elements of whom your swords are tempered, may as well wound the loud winds, or with me mock that stabs till the still closing waters.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me, when you are high at night. I do beseech you, chiefly that I may set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. Oh, my father, I have broke your hest to say so.
Admired Miranda. Indeed, top of admiration, worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a lady I have eyed with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I like several women.
Hast thou no oath by shore? Hast thou no mouth by land? What is the news?
Best news is that we have safely found our king and our company. The next, our ship, which but 3 glasses since we gave out split, as tight and yarn and bravely rigged as when we first put out to sea.
Sir, all this service have I done since I went. All the creatures against your peace, thee of thy son Alonso, they have bereft and do pronounce by me lingering perdition. Worse than any death can be at once, shall step by step attend you in your ways, whose wrath to guard you from, which here in this most desolate isle else falls upon your heads, is nothing but hot sorrow and clear light ensuing.
As I hope for quiet days, long life, and fair issue with such love as 'tis now, the murkiest then, the most opportune place, the strongest suggestion our worser genius can, shall never melt mine honor into lust, to take away the edge of that day's celebration, when I shall think, or Phoebus' steeds are foundered, or night chained below.
Mary spoke. Sit then and talk with her. She is thine own. And my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself, and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardon be, let your indulgence set me free!
It's such an amazing feeling knowing that as students we pulled off this amazing show. Shakespeare, the set, the wall, the painting, the actors, the costumes, the everything. It's very rewarding getting to see the final product and having the audience enjoy it.
I don't really feel like anything was missing. I mean, I even with the hurricane, I feel like we got everything done that we possibly could have. I mean, sure, we had to work more often, like within a shorter time period, but I feel like everything that needed to get done got done.
I think that if we weren't satisfied with this show, then we'd be satisfied with nothing. Because, like, you know, there's nothing that could satisfy us if we weren't satisfied with this, because this was pretty much, so far, the magnum opus of our careers. I think I am incredibly satisfied with this. I know, you know, Jordan and I have gone through so much together, especially with theater and everything. So I think that this is one of the proudest moments that we've ever had. I don't think anything was really missing. Minor details, maybe, but that's inconsequential, really.
To my fellow cast and crew, you were all absolutely fantastic. And it was a prestige to serve with each and every one of you, and I look forward to being given the opportunity to do so once more. I thank you all.
I'm really proud of all of us for getting through the show. It was a really great experience, and I'm probably never going to forget it.
I want to thank Mike, actually. Mike and Morgan, everybody on the crew, everybody in the cast. Without them, we definitely wouldn't have been able to get as much done as we did. And the crew, no, not the crew, the cast, they got all their lines down pat for Shakespeare, which is pretty impressive. I think we all pulled it together. We did great.
And also, as long as we were still talking about the set, definitely want to thank Mr. G. Grubasich. He's the architecture technology teacher here, and he really helped a lot in planning some of the more elaborate things like the extension, because we needed to make sure it wouldn't fall apart and, hurt anyone. And I definitely want to thank all of our heads for the technical spots, because a lot of us walked into positions that we weren't really trained for as well as we'd like to have been, especially when tackling a Shakespearean show, or really just any show. And like I said, I was really impressed with the end result, so I'm proud.
Proud of everyone.
I'm so thankful that we have this company and this family, this escape from home sometimes, and everybody really pulled together and I think just did an amazing job. Techies, everybody, just really amazing.
It's our last show, and we know we have some good people in our place.
Yeah,
I'm not worried.
No. I mean, we did cry the last night before we went on, but there are people that we see are coming up and are just really, I think, going to help the company. And
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
The highs of this are definitely that everybody works 110%. That always amazes me. Year after year after year, I get these kids that do the best they possibly can beyond what they have to work with.
If you had to sum up this whole experience in one word.
Astonishing.